look at Daddy.
He's not my dad, Mom.
Ava.
My dad is in jail and I miss him.
Well, how that nigga fix this shit then?
Now, I know that that is not the original version of that video, but it is the most talked about version of that video. And first, let me explain the original version of the video. In the original version of the video, the difference is that the stepdad doesn't just take the bike and throw it out into the street. He continues to just fix the bike, which I give him kudos on the original version for just continuing to fix the bike. But that version being the most talked about, there's a few things here that are just piss poor parenting. Now, I'm not going to blame the child for missing her father who is in jail. She obviously knows her father, grew up a little bit of time, enough time with her father to be able to be in love with her father and to know who he is. So I can't be mad at the child for standing up for her father who is in jail. What I can look at is the two people who are the adults in this situation. First, let's start with the mom, since that's how the video starts. If you're in a blended family situation, you should never try to force the children to call the blended partner, whether it's the mother or the father, call them mom or call them dad. That should be something that the child grows into on their own if they ever do. And the child makes that decision for themselves. Now, the way that you help the child to make that decision is you teach the child appreciation for what the step parent is doing for that child. And it's not that the child has to still call that person mom or dad, but just respect what that person is doing for them in the absence of their mother or father, or even in the presence of their mother and father, to accept the maturity of saying that I can appreciate my dad and I can appreciate my stepdad and still have a healthy relationship. This is where the parents need to come together in one unity to raise this child as appropriately as they possibly can. We see in this instance, the mother is trying to force the young lady to call this man daddy, simply because she may have her own issues towards the biological father, to which the child does know and is in love with. So that's problem number one with the mother. Problem number two with the stepfather. When you're coming into a blended family, you cannot assume simply because you came into the relationship. I was swatting at a bee. That's when my hat was crooked. Simply because you came into the relationship, that you should expect the child to automatically just be mature enough to recognize who you are and call you daddy, and thereby invalidating her feelings for her biological father that she is in love with. Because children are different. Children won't see if a parent is being being in a negative situation, unless it is persecuting that child. Then the child may look at the father and say that, well, he's not really being a dad. He's being mean to me. He's being absent from me. He doesn't want to talk to me. He's saying hateful things towards me. In those types of instances, the child will develop that on their own. So you shouldn't force it. And him acting out by throwing the bike is him being emotional because he wants the accolades to happen with a child who's not mature enough yet to understand everything, or they haven't taught that child to understand everything. If anything, the young man either should have continued to fix the bike, sit her down later and talk to her about the fact that I understand that you have these emotions, and you are well within your right to have these emotions. The only thing I'm asking is for a level of respect for the things that I do for you. That's it, a level of appreciation for the things that I do for you. And it is not something that happens over one conversation and one thing that you do for the child, but it is something that happens over a long period of time of the child being able to observe how you are with her. And it is not for you to look at it as you being a replacement for her father, because you never will be a replacement for her father, but you are an additional parent, a bonus parent that this child gets to have. You should be speaking to the child in the framework of, instead of having two parents who love you and adore you and are here to take care of you, you have three parents who are here to love you, to adore you, to take care of you. And for that father who is in jail, you don't get in the way of that relationship. You allow that father to determine what type of relationship he's going to have with that young lady, and let her grow up knowing who's been there for her and who hasn't been there for her. If all three are there for her, then let it be that way, and get your own emotions and ego out of the way. Because at the end of the day, the ultimate goal when it comes to the child is for this young lady, to grow up as healthy mentally and physically as she possibly can. And that means getting your own self out of the way. I really hate that video. But y'all have a great day. And remember always, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.